This is Esprit Model Network TV, and you're watching a closer look at Jeti sticks and switches. Thanks for joining us today. Today I'm going to go ahead and give you a closer look at the Jeti sticks and switches that we have available to you. With so many out there, it's very easy to get overwhelmed with which stick you should choose or which switch you should choose. That's why today I'm going to break down what we have, how to install them, and how to make sure they're working properly in your transmitter. We have a short 2-position, a short 3-position, a long 2-position, and a long 3-position. We also have a safety locking switch, spring-loaded 2-position, a spring-loaded 3-position, a spring-loaded on one side, either up or down, and an on-off on the second side, a momentary push button, and then we have a bunch of different stick ends that you can attach. We have one that has a 2-position switch on it, one that has a 3-position switch on it, one that has a rotary knob, and one that has a momentary push button. Now, one thing to make sure is that you get the proper stick. We have the proper switch. We have two different versions. We have one for your DS transmitter, which comes with a ribbon cable. We also have one for your DC, which you just plug into the transmitter. But we'll take a closer look at that when we show you how to install it. Another thing you're going to need to know is you will need a special tool to remove your switch nut. And that's going to look just like this guy right here. So our next segment will take you on how to install your switches. Thanks for tuning in to the second segment of the closer look at the Jeti sticks and switches. Right now I'm going to show you how to install your switch onto your Jeti transmitter. In this case, it's going to be a DS transmitter. Now, the DS switches are going to have a ribbon cable associated with it. On that cable, you'll see one side of it is silver and white, the other side is blue and white. When we install it, we want to make sure the blue side is facing outward. So first, what you're going to need is a number 9 Torx screwdriver and your switch nut removal tool. Also, I would like to recommend working on a safe work mat. We have the Jeti work mat with a foam block to support the transmitter so that you don't put extra weight onto your gimbals. I also have a box off to the side that I like to put the switch nuts and the screws in so that I don't lose them. So the first step you're going to do is you're going to take your switch nut removal tool and insert the tabs into the tabs on your switch nut on your transmitter, and you're simply just going to churn it, and that will remove that switch nut. Now I also want to point out that there is a switch nut on the replacement momentary push button, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that one. I want the black one back on it, so I'm just going to set the silver switch nut off to the side. Now I'm going to take my screwdriver and I'm going to remove the back plate on the transmitter. I've already removed all but one of the screws just to save time. Now that I have that off, I go ahead and remove the back plate. And this is what you have. Now the very first thing you want to do is you want to remove the battery, disconnect the battery. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect that so nothing happens when we're working. Now I can push the switch out and I can remove this data cable. And I can get the new switch and you just simply plug it right back in. Now I'm going to maneuver it to where I get my momentary push button through. And I'm going to want to hold it there while I go ahead and put the new switch nut on. So I'm going to use my black one again. And I'm going to go ahead and just lightly put it on with my fingers. And now I'm going to use my tool and I can go ahead and get it tight. Once I have it tight, I can go ahead and plug my transmitter battery back in. And then I can put the back on the transmitter. And that is how easy it is to install a switch on your DS transmitter. Next up, I'll show you how to do it on your DC. Hey guys, so now I have in front of me a DC transmitter, and I'm going to show you the same thing. I'm going to show you how to install the switch on it. In this particular case, I've already taken off the back plate. We've already disconnected the battery, and I've already loosened the switch nut and removed it. So now it's just a matter of plugging in the switch. Unlike the DS transmitters, there are no ribbon cables, so you literally just plug the switch into the board. So this is the one I've removed here. All you do is you push it out, and it's going to dislodge itself from the port on the board. And then you plug in your new switch. There's no way to plug it in the wrong way. It can only go in one way. So I'm just going to push it in. Now, if for some reason on the DS transmitter you plug it in the wrong way, you can go ahead and just swap it. If it's not working, just check the polarity. Like I said, these guys, though, only go in one way. So once you've plugged it in, now you're good to go. You put the back plate on, your switch nut, and then you move on to the next step, which I'll show you in the next segment. Now that we've installed all the switches onto our transmitter, what I want to show you now is how to check to make sure they are actually working. In this particular transmitter, we have a couple different options installed. As you can see, we have stick ends, one with a momentary push button, one with a rotary knob, and then we have a couple of switches. We have a spring-loaded 3-position on SA. This one we have set to give us telemetry and to show us our timers.
Timer, 10 minutes, 0 seconds.
So we have multifunction on that one. On our SH switch, we have a 2-position. We have this assigned to our gear doors.
Hook on, hook released.
In the SI position, we actually have a safety locking switch. We have this as our throttle lock. You have to pull it up and push it down. That's how you switch that one. And then on the SJ position, we have your typical 3-position switch. This one is set up with our flight modes. So if we wanted to test these, what we would do is we would go into our menu and we'd go down to the system right here. Once in the system menu, we'd scroll down to view inputs. Now in the case of any proportional control like this knob, you're going to see that on page 1. So you do have to make sure that you go into the stick and switch setup and assign that as a proportional control. Once that's done, when I move this knob, I will see the black line move in position number 9 right there. Now to see the rest of my switches, I want to go ahead and go to our second page. Now this stick with the push button is going to show up here as SK. When I hit that, you'll see it goes up, so it activates. So that means it's working properly. And that's how you would actually test all of your other sticks and switches to make sure that the inputs are actually working correctly. Now this has been our video on our sticks and switches. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to us. You can find our contact information at www.jetiusa.com. Thanks for watching.